My name is David Klum. Thank you for coming to my talk about why nurses should be paid more for their services. Obviously, nurses provide a very big service within the hospital field, and I've heard the argument that that they get paid enough for what they do. But I believe, with the evidence that I found, that this is not true. And I hope by the end you will feel motivated to go out into your communities and try and change this issue. The four main things that I would like to talk about is nurses being underpaid and undervalued, the same or similar pay or same pay post-COVID, a third of nurses wanting to leave the nursing field for better jobs, and patients at risk. With that being said, let's get into the first article. First article is from the ICN, which is the International Council of Nurses, and they state that nurses are undervalued and underpaid for multiple reasons. Some of the reasons they cite are the gender pay gap, unflexible hours, and these things are leading to strikes within the nursing community. Obviously, strikes within the nursing community can be a serious issue for the patients, which I will address later in the last article. While this one was a little bit more of a standalone, the next three articles are very closely related to each other. The second one is from the Marquette Wire, and that is about the COVID times and post-COVID times. They state in their article that nurses were overworked during COVID because of the short staffings. And later in their article, they state that nurses were not compensated fairly during the initial pandemic and right after the pandemic. Obviously, this is an issue that I believe should be changed, and I hope you guys could see that too. Moving into the third one, the third article was from the Nursing Standards Journal, and that is that in their article they stated that nursing, the frontline workers and nurses were applauded for their work they did during COVID, but that's all they received was applause. I believe that that's not fair. I think that they should also get monetary compensation and bonuses for what they did during COVID-19. Later in their article, they state that a third of nurses want to leave the nursing field for better paying jobs just because of the amount of work that they do. And the fourth one, which is probably the most important, is from Forbes, and that pertains to short staffings within the nursing field. Obviously, overworking and not enough pay will lead to short staffings. This causes obvious issues within the nursing field by the patient's health being at risk. Forbes went around and asked nurses if they felt that their patients were suffering at all, and most nurses said that they were suffering. Obviously, this is a very big issue that needs to be dealt with now. One other thing that Forbes saw was that nurses felt guilty for just taking breaks, the mandatory breaks that they're supposed to have, that they felt like they shouldn't be taking those. Obviously, all of these are issues that should be resolved through pay and for the patients, for the patient's health. But I can go on about that all day, but I want you guys to be motivated to go out and change this as well. Some of the things that you can do are write to your government about the unfair wages for nursing, get the attention of your news networks in the area, and talk about the issue in your day-to-day life. Do you guys have any questions for me?
What are these nurses getting paid right now?
Normally they get paid around $70,000 per year, which does sound good, but for what they're getting paid, they should be getting $85,000 plus. All right, thank you for coming to my speech.